We continue to follow breaking news this evening. One person is dead, 5 others injured after a parking garage collapsed in Lower Manhattan. We have several reporters covering all angles of this story tonight at the scene and at the hospital. We're going to begin with Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett. NJ?
Well, Sandra, what we had here at 4:15 this afternoon, so we're just over 2 hours into this, is a pancake collapse of a 4-story parking garage. The injured people who were inside were all workers. So there were 6 people who were injured in all of this. One of those workers, one of the 6, has died. 4 people were transported to local hospitals. One of them refused treatment at the scene. So the good news is that all who are believed to have been inside have now been accounted for. They are working through the scene right now very carefully to try to determine whether anybody was actually in any of the cars that were parked in the garage, Sandra. But because, you know, most parking garages work as the parking attendant takes your car and parks the car. So it is believed that no one was in any of the cars, but they can't be sure of that, so they've got to go and painstakingly look for anybody who may have been trapped. Again, all who were inside are now believed to have been accounted for. Search is ongoing, as I said, for anybody in the cars, and at this point, they do not know the cause, why this happened. They can't say. It's very, very early in the investigation, but the buildings department is down here, the FDNY is down here. City's police commissioner, Keishant Sewell, confirmed that this was not believed to be a case of foul play, that something clearly happened that caused the building to collapse, but no foul play is suspected. Working in the neighborhood, working through the neighborhood and talking to neighbors is Councilman Christopher Marte, and he is concerned about the structural stability of the surrounding buildings and the buildings in particular that are adjacent to the parking garage. Pace University, which has a building that is adjacent to the parking garage, was evacuated in the minutes after the collapse of the parking garage, and students, faculty, staff all told that they cannot remain in the building and that they should come back for classes on another day. But in speaking with Christopher Marte, he raised some questions about the stability of the other buildings. Here's what he told me just a short time ago.
We're going to keep on working with Department of Buildings to make sure that buildings that do have violation or violations that are just closed without row inspection, that we really follow up and keep these agencies accountable. And so that's what we have to do to make sure that every single building in Lower Manhattan is safe. We live in the oldest part of the city. These buildings are old, sometimes not safe, and we have to make sure that they are.
Well, he's absolutely right about that. So again, a search is ongoing. They are not terribly concerned that anybody else is inside, but they can't rule that out, so they're looking through the debris. It's a dangerous operation, no question about it. They're using digital technology, they're using drones, they're using dogs in some cases to go and search through some of the voids. You can't be too careful with this kind of a situation. Sandra, back to you.
Thank you very much. Also at the scene for us this evening, Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger. I know, Josh, earlier you spoke with a gentleman who had parked his car in that very garage mere minutes before the collapse.
You know, a lot of these stories, Sandra, are going to come out over the next, hours and even days of the close call. This is such a dense neighborhood, even post-COVID. There's so many people down here. It's a busy parking garage. We'll get to his story in a second, but I just do what University. The building after that, forgive me, is the garage that had the problem, and you can see the damage on the windows and the brickwork, the masonry to that building right there. You can tell just how damaged it is from the outside. I also want to show you the building just past it. From the camera perspective, it's a tall building, that's a hotel. We understand that building was evacuated as well. Both evacuated and will not be allowed to be reoccupied, at least for the night. As for what you mentioned, Sandra, yeah, we did talk to a guy who came here to go to the doctor. He parked his car in that garage 5 minutes before this happened. Here's what he had to say.
I didn't think about it much before because I was more worried about talking to my doctor, but now it's starting to hit home. Maybe I should play lotto. I don't know. Today's my day. As like I said, I was out of there for only 3 or 4 minutes when it happened, and I had no idea that a collapse had occurred. I didn't find out, so I was upstairs. My wife is calling me, my friends are calling me, and then the doctor told me, or the staff said, something happened at the parking lot. Do you park there? And I says, yes. So you may have a little bit of problem.
And back live, you can see that open window you can see there. That used to be a window framed out in multiple panes of glass. The entire window blew out of the building when this happened and is now sitting on the sidewalk. Fortunately, it did not hit anyone. As NJ said, 6 employees of that garage who were all inside when this happened, all of them accounted for. Sadly, 1 of them did not survive, but the others, fortunately for them, will. Sandra?
Josh, thank you very much. You've done a great job this afternoon. Also down there on the scene for us, on the other side of that building, Eyewitness News reporter Morgan Norwood. Morgan, you had a chance this afternoon to speak with some of the Pace University students who are pretty shaken up. Their building sort of shares walls with that garage. Talk to us a little bit about what you heard from them and what you saw yourself in that other garage.
Yeah, those students obviously a little shaken up given everything that happened so close to home. But Sandra, I want to step out and show you this is 27 Beekman, the parking garage here. Not the parking garage in question. They actually just shut the garage doors as you were coming to me, but certainly a lot of questions surrounding the stability. And you know, here's why. It's like dangerously close. Just before you came to me, there was dust on cars, cars being pulled out of the parking garage. There was a pile of bricks at one point. We've seen investigators in and out. You can see fire officials here. You know, here on the ground, investigators are trying to work to clear the building to make sure it's safe. What's a little unclear is the status of this building because, you know, garage workers, as I just mentioned, were moving cars out. And at one point, I'm actually standing by some of these folks. There were a lot of people waiting to get their car. I did just speak with one gentleman who says that he was at work when he heard about the collapse. He says he rushed over here to find out that he could not get into his vehicle. He says he parks here every single day. Here's what
they're charging us. I park here every day, and the guys who work here are great, but their supervisors from City Park are here. They're charging everybody to get their car out without even knowing the condition of it. It's outrageous.
So you don't even know your car is safe at this point?
I don't know if it's safe, damaged, destroyed, but I had to pay $27.
And what's your initial reaction to that? I mean,
it's horrible. It's horrible. They should just be getting the cars out, not charging money.
So guys, something has drastically changed within the past 5 minutes or so. I mean, there are still cars actually inside that garage, so obviously they've deemed it not safe. Like I said, that there were a pile of bricks behind certain cars. I saw dust on cars as well. You can see fire officials in there talking with workers of this parking garage. I am still trying to figure out why they are charging people, you know, when it's unclear that whether these cars are safe, whether the building is safe. So many questions at this hour, but all of these things we are working on as we are here on the scene. Again, trying to get the status of this building. Obviously, all of these buildings that are adjacent to the scene here are under scrutiny. There are concerns about the stability, if things may have rattled, may have shifted, any fallout from that. And, you know, I really feel for the folks here who are trying to get to their cars, trying to get home. It is rush hour. And so we're trying to work to get answers on behalf of them. But that is the very latest here from the scene here at 27 Beekman, this parking garage that is adjacent and actually shares walls with the parking garage that pancaked in all of this. Sandra?
Morgan, before I let you go, I want to circle back to those Pace University students. They are among the folks this evening looking for some answers because some of them were evacuated. Tell us, if you can, the status of that and what you heard from those students you had a chance to talk with.
Yeah, I spoke with one student who was still so shaken up. She says that she heard about it. You know, she got that alert. She ran out to see, you know, dust and debris, and she said it was chaos and pandemonium. Actually, Sandra, there's a little bit of movement here. I want to take you down. There's a large police vehicle that just pulled up here, and it looks like they're bringing out barricades as we speak. It appears that they're going to expand the perimeter. Obviously, there's been some movement. Again, we've been here at this parking garage for the past hour and a half, showing you, the measures that they were taking to try to help people get their cars, but also trying to make sure that this structure is safe. All of that, again, appears to have changed while we are live on the air here in Extra Time. We're going to work to figure out what is going on here, but you can see one by one, they're bringing out the metal barricades, they're closing this up. We already had crime scene tape pretty much surrounding this, so it does appear that this building, this parking structure, is a part of this investigation, and it's probably safe to say that they are going in and out, investigators going in and out. I did just see a few moments ago, and I don't know if the drone has kind of moved out of the way here. It doesn't appear that it's up in the air, but just a few moments ago, we did see the drone, and we know that police, and you can actually see it above. We know that police and the fire department had said that they were using this technology to fly in. It's unclear if that is their drone, but obviously it's another piece of technology that we know that they've used within this situation to get a closer look in the places that they can't get to, obviously, because these structures are deemed unsafe. So thank you for sticking with me here. I just wanted to make sure that I showed you everything that was happening here outside of this parking garage. But back to those Pace University students, absolutely, they are shaken up. They heard the crash, they came out and they saw all of this. They were calling their friends, their family members, group chat, classes canceled. They were not sure what was going on, but certainly, a scary situation for all of them. They were safe, they were evacuated, classes canceled, but you got to feel for those students who, maybe witnesses, saw what happened, but you also have to feel for the lives, that life who was lost, their family, and then the several others who are still recovering tonight, Sandra.
All right, Morgan, keep us posted on the activity down there. I think they're still trying to figure out how to shore up that building. We will hear from you later this evening, I'm sure. Thank you very much. The New York City Department of Buildings says that parking garage has an open hazardous violation. To tell us more about that, Eyewitness News investigative reporter Kristen Thorne is in the newsroom. Kristen?
Sandra, what's really concerning about this open violation is it dates back 20 years to 2003, and it is still listed as an open violation with the New York City Department of Buildings. I want to show you a list that we made up here. We found that this parking structure had 64 building violations since 1976. 6 of those are still open and unresolved violations, and that 2003 violation is listed as hazardous. When the inspector visited the garage back in 2003, he or she noted that the first floor ceiling slab cracks were there and that there was defective concrete exposed rear cracks. We can see that in the violation. We can also see in the violation that the property owner back then paid an $800 fine to New York City, but never filed a certificate of correction, which they are required to do. So clearly there is a lot of history and concerns around this building.
At this time, I should mention also that there are some active violations on the building dated back to 2003, but in 2010 was application filed, which not indicated violation was corrected, but it was filed. There are some active permits in the building. One of them is related to the electrical work on the premise.
So that application he's referring to is for a business license for the property owner. But you would think when that happened in 2010, that application, that this violation from 2003, still listed as open with New York City, would have been mentioned during that business license application. Last year, New York City actually strengthened its codes around parking garages and the inspections. And the new code says that every 6 years, the property owner has to retain their own professional engineer to do a survey of that building and submit it to New York City. Under this new code, this particular building, because of where it is located, that inspection was not due or is not due until December of this year. We cannot see any record of whether that inspection has been completed already, and that is something we are still looking into.